This is 3 ways that you can upgrade your action sports footage. We're gonna do it in ultra slow motion. Got it. So the first piece of advice that I'm going to give you guys is to always capture what I call a safety shot. A safety shot is basically a clip where the subject, the person doing the stunt, is safely in frame from the beginning to the end of the action. Basically meaning that you have a shot where they are not going to leave frame. You're not cutting off their head, you're capturing the whole of the obstacle. It's wide enough that if you need to be able to do a little digital reframing, you can. The reason why this is important is because a lot of stunts are not easily repeatable. And a lot of times, even if they are repeatable, you can't do them exactly the same way every time. So you want to capture whatever the best version of that trick is, or that stunt is, in a shot that you can see the whole perspective of the person and the important parts of the obstacle. To demonstrate this, I want to show you guys some footage that we filmed with professional skateboarder Rodney Mullen over on the YouTube channel Physics Girl.
By the way, this is Dianna, aka Physics Girl, and she is the reason that this whole project was even possible. Filming with Rodney was one of my dream projects, so she is one of my heroes for being able to make this possible. There were 2 Phantom cameras on set, one YoYo 640S belonging to my friends Todd and Joe Robins from Kuma Films, and then one Miro LC 321S, which is my Phantom camera. The YoYo was for wide angle safety shots, and the Miro was for tight shots. On this first clip, we backed up and filmed a little bit wider so that you could see his entire body and thus the style in which Rodney does this trick. It's a big component of what makes a trick really cool. On the second clip, we used a telezoom lens to focus on just the board and the feet so you can see all the small complexities about how the board rotates differently on each axis. In the original video, we used shots like this to break down the physics of how the board moves in the first place. When these 2 clips are combined together, the wide shot helps to give the close shot more context as to where the subject is in space. Basically, it helps the viewer understand what they are watching more clearly.
So tip number 2 is that oftentimes there's stuff that you'll film in slow motion that doesn't look as interesting as you thought in slow motion, but if you add just a little bit of contrast, you can upgrade that footage to looking a lot more interesting. As an example, I went and filmed with professional yo-yo player Ben Conde, and his yo-yos were all single color. They all had one color, so you couldn't really see the yo-yo spin very well. So what we did is we went and colored a part of it with a different kind of paint so that the yo-yo had some point of contrast. As it moved, you had something you could see moving. And just adding that little piece of contrast on the spinning yo-yo made a world of difference when it came to showing a lot of those cool up-close shots where he's doing something really complex with that yo-yo. So contrast is your friend. Tip number 3 is to consider the relationship between the environment that you're filming in and the subject matter that you're featuring. Currently, I am using these metal trees as leading lines to point to my face, but there isn't necessarily much of a direct relationship other than just pure aesthetics. With stunts, there is often a very direct relationship between the two. I am going to go ahead and demonstrate this with some footage from a 2014 project that I filmed with my good friend Josh Hill, featuring parkour legend Daniel Ilabaca. Let's take a look. By the way, here's some rare behind the scenes footage of me. That's the Sony FS700, which we used for the slow motion. This is Josh Yadon, who helped both with photography and also some B camera operation. And this is Josh Hill, who was my co-director of photography on this project. And nowadays, he has become one of the better cinematographers you'll find in Hollywood. Seriously, check out his Instagram. It's epic. I'll start by showing you a sequence that we could have done a little bit better.
In this first clip, we show the jump front to end, but you can't really tell how big the drop is that he's going over. In the second shot, we are down low looking up so you can truly see the height of the buildings, but it also means that you can't see the run up or landing. So we have to combine those clips in order to make them function. And going back to our first tip about safety shots, because we filmed the first couple a little bit off frame or a little bit too tight, we ended up having to repeat the shot a few times. If Daniel wasn't comfortable going back and doing this again and again, we might have lost the shots. So this was a great learning experience for me at the time. Hey, get some good safety shots first. At the next location that we went to, we made better use of the environment to frame the jump. The fence acts as a great tool to reveal Daniel jumping over the side of the building. By framing Daniel's pathway between the white skyscraper on the right and the fence on the left, our attention is naturally drawn to where he is. By using a wider angle lens closer to the ground, we have a good sense for where he is in space and also a better sense of how huge that drop really was. And since we now had a good standalone safety shot, on the next attempt we were able to take a little bit more of a high-risk, tighter framed tracking shot to get more detail on his movement.
I've linked to all of the original videos in the description down below if you want to check those out, along with the socials for everybody that you saw featured on screen. Subscribe if you want to see more. Peace out.